It's my favorite race of the year.
Silverstone week. Oh my gosh, I'm so, so, so excited. I love Silverstone too.
It's such a good track. It's so fun. And I'm putting on record ahead of time that even when Max wins this Grand Prix by like a million seconds, I'm still like, I love Silverstone week. It's just, it's one of those really special tracks that's always a good time.
Yeah, everyone loves Silverstone, and I agree. It's not like we're going in with any sort of extra magical hope, as fun as that would be, but it's fun to watch. It's some guaranteed good racing, I feel.
All right, do you want the hopium?
Oh, just give it to me. Give me the hopium.
This track is incredibly similar to Spain. The Pirelli graphic visualizes this great. There's so much tire stress. They are bringing a new compound of tires that Aston Martin and Ferrari are very excited about because it should help their problems a little bit. But Mercedes is so great on its tires. This is a race designed to be good for that Mercedes car and how they design their cars. If you're looking for a good comparable of performance, if you're like, oh, I want to see how XYZ team might perform here, Barcelona. Go look at Barcelona. I will say it's raining on Saturday, which makes me upset for all the reasons we say every week, which is like, why do we need another wet quali?
Not another one.
Global warming really needs to stop and go away. But yeah, Pirelli graphic this week is basically just says rough on tires, which is why they're bringing their hardest compounds and why we're excited for Mercedes. Because if it's rough on tires, it's traditionally good for Mercedes.
Woohoo! Yeah, that's going to be some great management we'll be able to see. And gosh, I need a more positive Mercedes weekend than this past weekend.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's Lewis Hamilton week. Please be a good week. I will, I realize I said very, like, passively, like, oh, and Pirelli's bringing new tires. If you haven't, if, you know, you're not a big tire nerd like me, Pirelli builds their tires based on expectations of the amount of, like, car performance, so just downforce that the cars and pressure the tires are under. They get information from the teams before the start of the year in the winter of like how much downforce the teams think they're going to be creating on their cars, and they showed up at the beginning of the year and Pirelli went, oh, you are all putting a lot more stress on these tires than we thought. So the tires, it's basically a new construction, I believe is the right way to say, is what Pirelli is bringing. Basically, the goal is to always have tires that don't explode, because we do want tires that degrade, because that's what creates strategy, but they don't explode under the stress. So Pirelli's saying that there should be no change in their performance at all, and it's not going to be a factor for any of the teams. The reality is, like, we're dealing with such fine margins that there will be some effect on the teams. But all the teams got to try the new tires at Spain, actually, in a free practice. So no team is coming in blind, not having run them before. I'm sure they've all simulated to high heavens what they're going to do. But that's what's happening this weekend. And it could affect things, because Ferrari and Aston Martin, that are not as good on their tires as the Mercedes team, are very excited about these new tires being brought. So I'm sure they will help those teams a little bit.
Ferrari's great with tires. What do you mean?
Yeah. The biggest wild card for me this weekend is McLaren. Like, how much their upgrade, was it a fluke, or was it Austria specific? Because that track is very different than the track we're going to. So all the same reasons that I'm saying things shouldn't be quite as awful for Mercedes this week, it's the same reason I'm kind of skeptical of McLaren being amazing last week. Like, is Lando Norris just an Austria specialist, or is that upgrade actually going to put them in the mix now? Did they jump Alpine? Like,
Yeah, that's the big question. I agree. I don't know where to be placing them just yet as well. I think we're just starting to see, like, maybe it is this upgrade, or maybe it's not, or slightly, and it's a combination of Lando's driving or different things like that. We've seen a little bit more of a push from Oscar, but I'm interested to see where that falls here, because I mostly just don't know where to be placing them when I'm trying to do predictions for races now.
an update on this. So remember, we reset points back to 0 at summer break. I currently have 44 points. Nicole has 23. This is the third weekend in a row where you and I only got Max Verstappen right. After a really good streak for most of the season of like us getting other things correct in our predictions, Spain, Canada, and Austria, the only things we've gotten right are Max Verstappen. So it's 2 points, 2 points, 2 points.
To be fair, you did guess in the end that McLaren was going to be the highest amount of points scoring for teams in the back of the grid, but that was because you said you picked AlphaTauri and I picked Williams, so then that's when you were like, it's gonna be McLaren because we didn't pick McLaren. So you were right, just not where it counts, which I'm appreciative because I need points.
If you look back at my predictions, particularly from last week, I was like one position off for most things. Like, I think I did Esteban, we both did Esteban P8 in the sprint. I'm pretty sure he was P7. Like, yep. I picked Alex for P10, he was P11. Like, I picked Checo for P4, he was P3. Like, I had the most frustrating week of predictions where I was right because it's incredibly hard to get things that spot on. So, like, I was as in the ballpark as someone could possibly be. But got no points for it, so it doesn't matter because everything is just, do you get points for it? So yes, I'm decently far ahead here, but we have a reset coming in 3 races. And then we're back to square one.
Holy moly, I can't believe that. It's already 3 races and then it's halfway through. But wow.
Wild. Okay, Nicole, who'd you pick as P1 this week?
Wow. Plot twist to nothing and no one at all. As much as I still would love to change this, it's Max. I put Max. It's Max. I have Max.
So I'm up by 19 points.
Oh, you're going to do a thing. Go. Oh, God.
I'm picking Lewis.
Ah! You said the thing. You did the thing. Oh, my God.
I did the thing. Now, my sanity, sane brain, please no one bet off of my picks. Like, if you're for some reason listening to this and putting like money behind any of these, don't do it. But I don't need those 2 points. And I need positive vibes. And therefore, I think Lewis Hamilton is going to win the British Grand Prix during this year. I think I need to clarify. I think Lewis Hamilton is going to win the British Grand Prix this year.
Yeah, okay. You're welcome for giving you such a lead that you can have this fun of these picks. That's basically all I'm going to say about that, because as much as I really wanted to do that, I couldn't because I'm trying to catch up in whatever way I can.
I do think Mercedes is going to be better this weekend. Do I think he's going to actually beat Max? I don't know, but I'm going to put it out in the universe that I think Lewis Hamilton is going to win the race this weekend.
Okay. Really on edge now.
That's who's your P4?
Cool. My P4 is Fernando. I have Fernando there because I may be hoping that I was doing that math of I have Lewis on the podium. I just needed to have Max at P1, but I have Lewis there somewhere, and Fernando can watch from P4. Who do you have at P4?
I have George.
Okay.
I also, I would like him to have a good home Grand Prix, particularly after last year. So I think George.
Yeah,
I will. So I'm going to give a little bit of a disclaimer here, is that the way I did this is I did my actual predictions and then I just made Lewis P1. So the rest of these aren't like scaling off Lewis being P1. These are scaling off what I thought. I don't know. I feel like putting that disclaimer out there is good. But yes, I have George P4.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter. I mean, the points do matter,
right.
But the points don't matter.
No, but it really matters that on our podcast, written for eternity, I am saying that Lewis Hamilton is going to win this Grand Prix.
I can't even say words. I'm so nervous about that.
All right, P7.
My P7, I have Lance for my P7. Okay. I'm, again, avoiding talking about the horses again, as I did last week. I'm not going to bring them up, and I'm going to keep every other team in my picks, so I have Lance in P7. How about you?
Well, I do have the prancing horse in a P7 here, and I have Carlos Sainz as my P7.
Fair. Very fair pick. I'm just still mad at them. So I'm just still not picking them. They did me dirty.
Many weeks of them doing
Many weeks
dirty.
in a row. As soon as I stop picking them, they start showing up kind of in a way, but not really.
But yeah, despite all the other things. All right, my P10. I'm picking a driver I haven't actually picked this season yet. I'm going with Pierre Gasly.
I feel like there definitely was an early on race that you picked Pierre at once. We picked. There was definitely one race where you and I picked the French Peens. It may have not been for P10 though. It might have been at another point. But I picked Esteban, so we're back at it again. That's why I feel like we've done this before. And the Battle of the French Peens in P10, maybe. Yeah, it felt fun. It felt like Alpine was a good pick back over there. It's likely that I feel like they're going to be in that, like 7 to 10 spot.
Yeah, they did well in Spain. I think they'll do better than they did this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I think they'll do better than they did this weekend, I think Esteban will be higher than P10.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. I went with McLaren this week.
I also went with McLaren. I felt like such a dummy last week after just not. And as we're talking about it, it's going to be McLaren. We knew it. We felt it.
Yeah.
We should have known, and we did.
And now that we picked them, it's not going to be McLaren, which scores the most points at the bottom of the standings. But
right.
Hey, we'll see. At least if I get this one wrong, I won't feel so silly as I did picking AlphaTauri last week. It's not just an F1 race week, it's an F1 Academy race week as well.
F1 Academy heads to Monza.
Unlike our F1 predictions, we get the points of whatever drivers we draft for the weekend. We both will draft 3 of the F1 Academy drivers. We can only pick 2 in the top 7, and then we have to pick 1 from the bottom half of the standings at least. We can pick more than 1. And then, at this point in the standings, I had a big week at round 4 in Zandvoort. I got 95 points. Nicole only got 28, so it puts the total standings after the 2 rounds we've done predictions for at 145 to 106. So still very close.
Yes, but I am seeding my first pick so I can take pick 2 and 3. So I'm giving Briana first pick this time around.
Okay. Well, Hamda did an incredible job winning 2 races last week. And she seems to be on a roll. She's only 5 points behind in the total standings now. And it feels right that I pick her again. Like, I want to keep riding the hot hand.
Yeah, I also wanted you to decide basically who was going to go first so that then I can just decide my next 2 based on, at least my second pick, based on whoever you.
Yeah, I knew you were like, I don't want to have to do that.
I was like, I don't want to have to decide between Hamda and Marta, who I'm definitely taking Marta as my second pick, and then Lena's going to be my third pick as the other backup.
I remember last week you were debating whether or not to take Lena, and you were really distraught about not taking Lena, and I think she had a good
weekend. She showed me why I should have and was debating to pick her. So this week I'm definitely keeping her in my picks.
Okay. So for my next 2 picks, at least one of them needs to be in the bottom half of the standings. Mm-hmm. So they're in Monza this week, which is a weird circuit because it's just that big long straight and little to no turns. So I'm trying to look at their other tracks to see like who did well at a similar circuit like that. So I'm going to go with Amelie and Bianca. Both had decent weekends in Barcelona, which was another high-speed track. So I think that's what I'm going to go with.
I think that's very solid picks. My next pick was going to be Bianca, so I am going to go up with my next backup, but still very happy to be picking her, Carrie Schreiner. So good picks, I think. I feel good. It'll be exciting to see how their weekend goes in Monza, and getting a couple of different race instances is always interesting to see, like, multiple race winners. I enjoyed that aspect of F1 Academy. So cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this highlight of episode 24 of Gridwalk. Don't forget to like and subscribe for a ton more F1 videos. And you've made it this far into this video. Why not watch the entire podcast? You can click here for the full thing. Click right here. Click, 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 click.